Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. Today we are on an extreme approach into St. Barths.
Altimeter setting.
We're now at our top of descent. We're descending down to 3,000 feet for the initial approach. You notice the weather is pretty out there today. We can see a couple of the smaller islands out there, but we're now crossing through here. And we are heading into St. Barths. For that approach, hopefully we can descend below these clouds and we are able to perform a right-hand circuit into runway 10. And on a normal use case, you would be pretty much VFR heading into St. Barths. So if it's a case where we would have to deviate over to the left there, that's what you would normally do. Deviate around the clouds here. However, we're still very high. We're over water. And we're going to try to see if we get down below the clouds. We should be able to get down below the clouds here. Cloud layer should be at least 3,000 feet. So we're going to be dropping into the clouds, trying to get in below them and try to fly in. There should be an area of low haze that is expected. So we're going to try our best to get in. So the weather out in St. Barths today is showing wind 060 at 16 knots. Temperature is 28, QNH 1018. Our few clouds at 3,100 feet, and we have a ceiling of at least 12,000. Temperature again 28 and 66% humidity. This is my first flight after installing the Bayesian trees update, and I'm gonna see if it did update anything. If anything, and it still has the tree which is within our flight path, then we're gonna have to remain high over that single tree which is directly in front of runway 10, and then we're gonna try to see if we can get beyond that. We're gonna go ahead and turn on our inertial separator here as we fly through the cloud, just in case if water, as I said, just in case if water gets in, it does not get into our engine and cause more damage. Gonna increase our rate of descent here as we pull back on the power. And we're going to drop down to 1,500 feet for the right-hand pattern altitude. We are expecting to break out below 3,100 at least, and we can start seeing some holes. And there's the airfield as we make our right-hand pattern entry into the airfield. We're going to pull back on our power here so we can slow down a little bit. And here we are breaking out through the clouds. We still do have some rain, so we'll keep our initial separator on just for a tad. There we are, 1,000 to go. Or we can turn our initial separator off at this time. See that we're not going through any further rain. We're just slowing down so that we are able to get our first degree of flaps out. And we're going to check our altimeter. Weather looks good out here. Again, low hanging haze, which is down to 3,100. We do have a little bit of haze layer around here, but it's all fine here. We got a nose up attitude here. We're going to try to increase our airspeed so that we can maintain level flight. The runway is going to be over on this side here. Our nose is popping up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and wait for our turn in for us to start dumping our flaps. Then we're going to slow down. We're going to go prop full forward, and then we're going to go our next degree of flaps. Initial separator is on, and we're going to go ahead and dump our pull back on our power here for that airspeed. And then we're going to dump our first degree of flaps. Prop full forward. We're going to go our next degree of flaps here. And we're going autopilot off. And we're trimming our aircraft to maintain our flight profile here. All right, full flaps, and we do have the field in sight. Want to keep the runway in sight all the way down. Don't want to get it behind any of the mountains or anything like that. We do have to be slightly to the right here of the field in order for you to keep that runway in sight. However, we are floated in nicely, and then we're going to easily, quickly slide in.
Approaching 10.
You can see that tree that is black right in the middle of the runway. You're going to want to try to get above that because it's still here.
Unstable. Unstable. Caution, taxiway. Caution, taxiway. Long landing. Long landing. 30 meters.
And we're going around. And we're going to try this again. We're going to make a left-hand circuit out, and we're going to get out of the, go back into the pattern. Our reason for the go around is because we did come in a little bit unstable there. The aircraft was a little bit too low, and I was not seeing the point for me to start dropping my nose down. So when we did do that, we did get a lot more speed than we wanted to carry into that runway. Get rid of our initial separator, and we're going to be coming back in again. We're just going to use the head-in mode, and then we are going to be flying the pattern again. So we're going to keep the altitude all the way in, because this is a no mistake airport. Usually on a regular case, I may have just put it down, but we were way beyond the touchdown zone. And although the aircraft does have the stopping capabilities, we don't want to risk anyone's lives here. All right, we're starting to turn that pattern inbound and see how we can get in. Now we're back into the pattern, and we're going to attempt this landing a second time. So we're going to get our initial separator out, because we do know that we have some rain on approach. So we're going to turn inbound, where we're going to capture or view the runway and then the approach path. Let's get our full flaps out, and that way we can maintain a specific airspeed for our approach or our arrival into there. All right, our autopilot is going off right now. Sorry, I can't speak. It's so much focus is needed for this airport. Gonna start slowly descending into the airport here while we still try to maintain our airspeed. Want to see the other end of the runway before we start, really getting down here and pulling power. Gonna want to start descending now, and now we're on the proper glide path for this.
Too high. Too high. Approaching 10. Approaching 10. Too high. Too high. Unstable. Unstable. Caution, taxiway. Caution, taxiway. Long landing. Long landing. meters remaining.
All right, yo guys, and welcome to St. Barths as we go turn around here at the turnaround point and get to our parking.
Meters remaining. On runway 28.
All right, yep, we could have turned around anywhere around here, but we were just gonna take that taxiway all the way down, or take the taxi down the runway, and then we'll just do a backtrack and exit here on Alpha. right, yo, we're on the ground. Here we go. And then we can go ahead now and get everything else offline. All right, so beacon lights off, seatbelt signs, no smoking. Gonna turn out, now we're gonna keep these on. We're gonna switch off our pedo static and our stall heat. Parking brake is set. For this right here, we're gonna go ahead and bring our prop to feather. We're feathering the props. Gonna turn our fuel pumps to off. We do have FOD, but we should not be worried about that for now. Just gonna go ahead and shut off our avionics 1 and 2. And we are gonna shut off our battery. And now we're gonna go ahead and open our door here. Set off our stuff. Put our chocks down. And we are all good. Fuel selector to off. Alrighty, yo guys, welcome to St. Bart's. You can exit off to the left there, so you guys can get out of the aircraft. We're gonna go ahead and open our passenger door and our cargo door so that they can remove our cargo and our passengers. Again, thank you so much for joining me on the flight. Again, it was a pretty interesting one coming into St. Bart's. First landing, we did a go around due to the fact that we were a little bit too high, although we could have touched down, but we did not want to risk it. We went around, and it's a good thing we did because look, the weather is starting to float in. And we did land the second time. If we did not land the second time, then we would have had to go to St. Martin due to the fact that we are not going to keep coming around and going around and going around. So again, thank you for joining me on this flight. Going to go ahead and sign off right here and submit our PIREP, and we should be out. See you guys.